Welcome to the making of ReadIT, the Reading Europe Advanced Data Investigation Tool, a research project aiming at regenerating lost connections about the cultural heritage of reading. It involves roughly 20 scholars from 5 main teams and 3 associate partners, all together from 6 different countries. And it covers a large expertise in social sciences and the humanities, digital humanities, and computer sciences. We started with a big challenge. How and why people read or read in the past remains elusive. Because reading is a mental process that is hard to recall. Because the ways people recount their memories of reading highly vary from one person to another. And because there was no on-shelf technology to capture and process the vast and highly diverse trove of representations of reading experiences. Europe has indeed the richest resources in reading testimonies covering multiple cultures and languages and in multiple media types: gazettes, diaries, letters, paintings, audio recordings, photographs, etc. They depict a transaction between a reading subject and reading material, shedding light on its circumstances, inside, outside, standing, lying, aloud, silently, in group, alone, on its motivations, professional, educational, leisure, and mainly also on its effects and outcomes. But such resources are scattered in a variety of public or private archives, often not digitized, and underexploited for lack of a dedicated environment. The goal of ReadIT was therefore to build a tool enabling scholars, professionals in media industries, and the general public to explore ordinary European readers' testimonies, mainly from the 18th century until today, to capture the points of commonalities and the main features of their reading experiences, and to generate, as automatically as possible, a nuanced recognition of their readers' response, which is at the core of our pan-European identity and heritage.
To attend the needs of reading scholar, the IT team of ReadIT conceived and developed a set of programs and interfaces to collect, describe, select, and share reading testimonies. The main objective of all these tools is obviously to facilitate the work of scholars in reading studies. The global architecture of the technical response to the needs expressed by reading scholars articulates around 3 main components. First, at the core, is a database in which we store content and metadata along with annotations to describe content such as named entities, excerpts that describe a reading experience or an emotion. These annotations constitute the starting point of the work of reading scholars. They can be generated either automatically or by experts in the field, and the work of the latter can obviously be facilitated by automatic content analysis that provides pre-annotations to be corrected. Second, the database relies on a data model which led to the reading experience ontology, REO for short, that we designed within the project to describe as precisely and extensively as possible the reading experience. All content items are described with the same model, concepts and keywords, and whatever the study in which they are involved. This unique model enables content to be reused and shared seamlessly in various studies. And finally, we developed a set of interfaces as a front end to the database to enable searching for content from plain text, keywords, annotations, to enable annotating content or collecting new reading testimonies to grow the database. From the technical point of view, all IT developments rely on standard and well-known technology in computer science, such as the semantic web as a standard for the ontology and data model, artificial intelligence and natural language processing, modern web development techniques, and also user-centric interface design. Now, let's take a closer look at the different elements that the IT team has developed.
At the core of Read It tools is the model of what we consider a reading experience. This is not just the result of a negotiation of a different point of view on reading, but an innovative attempt to reconstruct its broad description and to transfer it into a smart, machine-readable tool. In one sentence, the main result of the Read It model is the ability to represent a variety of nuances of reading as we live it and as we like to talk about it. The conceptual modeling focuses on the phenomenology of reading, a first-person representation describing the intimate relation between the reader, the content, and the situation of life. The experience angle led to represent the relationships between these various aspects of reading as a complex process. Reading takes time, even years. We read multiple things at the same time, ranging from narrative to manuals in very different situations. The experience we have are the result of a complex network of interactions. Worth reflecting is the unique challenge of defining something that is very personal yet leaves no traces, my own experience of reading. Pre-existing model focused on observable facts: who is the reader, the content, where, when, with who. Read It model pushed this boundary to define the reader's habits, aims, and a variety of shades of the state of mind, like opinion, beliefs, emotions, memories. The representation of the individual point of view required extra care and creativity, pushing the model way beyond the remit of previous project.
Once the theoretical model of reading was built, we translated it into a language that computers understand. So we designed the reading experience ontology, known as REO. An ontology is a common format to link the research data and the annotation glossary, thus generating enriched data. For IT, we built upon the CDOC model, commonly used to describe tangible heritage, and extended it to describe intangible heritage and experiential phenomena. As our research explores testimony, we define the act of reading as a temporal sequence with a beginning and an end, therefore with befores and afters taking place in specific circumstances and environments. This ontology allows us to encode testimonies as shown in this example. An activity I have just reread is performed by a reader, Jean Lambert, who reads a content, Balzac by Alain, printed in a medium, a book. Reading took place at a given place and time, year, May 41, and triggered effects with the same pleasure. The REO is one of the major conceptual achievements of the project. It is the central pillar supporting the smart exploration tools developed by Read IT.
In order to answer the how and why we read questions, we have been developing artificial intelligence tools, and specifically natural language processing tools. Those tools automatically annotate text data. They target reading testimonies and named entities. Named entities are person names, place names, organization names, and most of all, work of art mentions. Work of art mentions are, for instance, book names, play names, novels that are present in the text. That detection works in more than 20 different languages. We have been also developing a reading testimony detector. It works by highlighting text that contains or are reading testimonies. It works in 7 languages, in French, in Italian, in English, in Dutch, in Czech, in German, and in Russian. Both tools combined help the user to quickly select relevant part of the text, hence saving him time for further analysis.
The main goal of the interface is to enable semantic search. For example, it should be possible to search for all memories of reading horror stories by French female readers. To make this possible, we fully committed to the semantic web. The Read It interface is probably one of the first web applications that is thoroughly based on linked data. The users can upload textual sources of reading testimonies. Then, pre-annotations are automatically added based on machine learning. This helps the users to find text segments that can be semantically annotated. When viewing a source in the annotation interface, its full text is shown in one column. The annotations are highlighted in the text and also listed next to the source. It is possible to filter the annotations so the user can select which types of annotations to see and by whom. The user can click on an annotation to view its details, and the user can select text in order to create a new annotation. Annotation always associates a text segment with a category of information. For example, the name of the reader or the date of reading. These categories are based on the ontology. We are very proud of the fact that we retrieve these dynamically as linked data. This means that we would not need to change the software if the ontology were to change. The annotator can also identify a particular instance of the category. For example, not just any reader, but a particular candidate in a competition. We refer to these specific instances as items. When viewing an annotation, a list of all other places with the same item is one click away. It is possible to draw relations between items. They are, again, dynamically retrieved from the ontology. Starting from one item, users can navigate to related items. In this way, we integrate the semantic web directly in the interface. In the search interface, the relations between the items can be queried to unlimited depth and complexity. The search criteria entered by the user are translated into computer code. For this purpose, we use Sparkle, the standard query language for linked data. The query can also be saved and edited again later. The translation to Sparkle, with editing later still possible, is the most groundbreaking feature of the interface.
Readit's aim is ambitious yet simple, enabling end users to find reading experiences in huge amounts of text and to analyze them systematically. Therefore, humanities scholars in the consortium had two main tasks. First, help the tech guys develop the ontology, the algorithms, and the interface. Secondly, test and validate these functionalities throughout a wide range of digitized Europe-based testimonies written over a long period of time and in at least 6 different languages. Thus, the use cases encompass processing numerous text genres from well-known to rare sources and analyze the relevance of the tools with respect to multiple research questions about reading. In particular, we applied digital methods to search for historical evidence of reading experience, for example in diaries, letters, correspondence around 1800 from Central Europe, where vernacular languages such as Czech and German coexist with French, Italian, Latin, and to a smaller extent English. We also explored a rich digital database, Brigitte, with 2,300 diaries in Russian from the late 18th century up until today, or a testing of early French female readers of philosophy from the mid-19th century. In the 20th century, we focused on reading diaries. This means notes on compulsory school reading, which remain common in several parts of Europe, as well as on posts on social networks of readers. As you see, one of the most innovative aspects of Readit is to go beyond the English by default research objects and to adopt a comparative approach of multilingual readers' lexicon as well as practices and most of all the impact of reading. But let's have a closer look now at some case studies. For example, at the diaries of an 18th century nobleman from the Habsburg monarchy, written mostly in French.
One major benefit to mention about the tool, among others, is that it helps overcome the scattering of reading evidences that historians of reading are so often facing. As a scholar, we usually tend to look for specific types of readings in dedicated sources. For instance, to study reading in relation with pedagogical activities, we'll search teachers or parents' testimonies. But we know that teachers and parents are also common readers. So with this in mind, we uploaded an important diary written by a high-rank aristocrat, a civil servant of the Habsburg monarchy, that has been partly published in this excellent and huge edition. And his reading played a significant role in his political positions, and this aspect is well known and has been studied. But his diary is full of reading testimonies. So we managed to gather all the bits and pieces about multilingual reading recounted in his diary. And what is more, we were able to grasp the patterns of his reading habits and integrate them into the framework of his sociability. For instance, we discovered that collective reading was quite frequent, and this sheds light on a whole range of further issues, such as the use of rurality or the role of reading in knowledge transmission across social groups, for instance, between men and women, or between this aristocrat and his non-aristocrat secretaries. So in a nutshell, the supervised and rather fast processing of a big amount of data enabled a richer understanding of this source, and it's also broadened the set of research questions that we were able to raise and to meet.
Within ReadIt, a two-way dialogue between computer scientists and humanities scholars has allowed us to advance research on reading. For example, the RAO ontology and the annotation tools have enabled us to understand the most famous fictional reading experience of Italian literature in a new light. In a passage from the Divine Comedy, Dante describes how Paolo and Francesca fall prey to their mutual desire while reading. The NLP tools identified expressions that relate to reading. They're highlighted here with diagonal orange lines. But close reading also revealed that the tools did not identify another word, the first one that occurs in the passage, leggiavamo. And this is probably because Dante used an archaic spelling. Within ReadIt, we work with historical documents from all periods, and we've ensured that our tools take language change into account. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the tools allow us to focus on the moment when this reading experience, when its outcomes change from internal processes into external processes. Paolo and Francesca first feel emotions, highlighted here in purple, and then they take action, highlighted in yellow. They kiss and read no more.
Why does reading have such a strong emotional impact over us? Testimonies of ordinary readers constitute a rich material to further investigate these questions. We are enhancing the possibilities of our annotation tool in order to capture the diversity of readers' engagement. Emotions are an essential part of the reading experience. Yet, so far, no model has attempted to capture them in all of their nuances. These emotions are both an appraisal of a literary work and the expression of a sentiment. Reviews on social networks show to what extent evaluation, here highlighted in yellow, and emotional reactions, here highlighted in green, are intertwined when it comes to reading. We are currently labeling the effects expressed in a wide range of testimonies and comparing them with responses to other aesthetic experiences. This contributes to the interdisciplinary field of emotion research at the crossroad of humanities, neurosciences, and computational linguistics. The result is a manual classification system relating emotions to their stimuli across languages, time and space, as well as a multilingual thesaurus of European readers' emotions.
Another key aspect of the project has been the involvement of contemporary readers and external scholars. Digital tools can provide a unique opportunity to connect with these target stakeholders and collect from them new rich data that can help answer the underlying research questions. To enable this crowdsourcing activity, create and manage engagement campaigns, the Read contribution portal was built. For instance, when attending an academic conference, you can ask other researchers to contribute raw data, documents or photos by providing them with a unique URL where this data can be easily uploaded. More importantly though, researchers can create multilingual campaigns with specific tasks, for instance, asking people for individual responses about the emotions and the role reading has played for them during the COVID-19 pandemic. The contribution portal generates then a custom application that people can access either on a PC or a mobile phone in order to submit their responses, which can be textual or video or an image. Of course, the entire data workflow is ethical and compliant with the GDPR regulations. Contributors are required to register before their responses are submitted. Researchers who have created the engagement campaigns need to manually select the data that they want to save in their database, and they can easily export this for further analysis. The contribution portal has been successfully used to collect data during academic conferences or physical events with the general public, and has even been used in higher education. Its simplicity and ease of use makes it a suitable tool for different occasions.
Working on delivering the dissemination and public engagement for impact aims of the project, we produced a number of resources to engage the wider public in the Read It project. We developed printed postcards with questions about reading, inviting written responses from the public. The postcards feature a QR code allowing you to upload your responses directly to the Read It public contribution portal. They can also be returned by standard mail. The postcards are available in Czech, Dutch, English, French, German, and Italian. We distributed postcards to a wide range of audiences in all the countries covered by the project consortium, to students, reading groups, prisoners, people attending literary festivals, science festivals, and academic environments, allowing members of the public across Europe to contribute their responses to reading safely and anonymously. We also developed an interactive Read It chatbot, which is available on our project website and also on Telegram. The chatbot is available in 7 European languages. This has allowed people from diverse backgrounds to share their experiences of reading with us. You can find out more about how to contribute your experiences of reading via the links on the screen. Since the end of the project-funded period, we have continued to engage members of the public and scholars in reading studies through pilot public engagement programs, as well as research with new international partners in Northern Ireland, Croatia, Italy, Germany, and Canada.